Okay, so we will just do a short review of last week's class,
बितेको हप्ताको सानो छोटकरीमा हामी सुन्नेछौँ
and then we'll finish Proverbs today,
अनि हितोपदेशलाई आज हामी सिध्याउने छौँ
and then we'll have two classes left.
अनि अब हाम्रोमा दुईवटा क्लास रहनेछ
Ecclesiastes,
सदोपदेश
two books left, two books, Ecclesiastes and Song of Solomon. They're the
दुईटा
shortest.
दुईटा किताब रहनेछ अब त्यसको बादमा फेरि हामी अरू किताब अरू क्लास सिद्धिनेछौँ
So Lord bless our class in Jesus' name.
प्रभु यो हाम्रो क्लासलाई आशिष गर्नुहोस् यीशु ख्रीष्टको नाममा
So in the Proverbs we said there's a number of kind of characters,
हामी हितोपदेशमा सुनेको थियौँ विभिन्न प्रकारको चरित्र भएका व्यक्तिहरू हुन्छ
like characteristics a person can have.
एउटा एउटा व्यक्तिमा विभिन्न प्रकारको चरित्रहरूको बारेमा सुनिरहेको थियौँ
And one of them was the friend. What is the characteristic of a good friend?
एउटा चाहिँ एउटा असल मित्रको कस्तो चरित्र हुन्छ भन्ने कुरो हेरिरहेको
We
थियौँ
were saying that a good friend is faithful,
अनि एउटा असल साथी चाहिँ विश्वासयोग्य हुन्छ
confidential.
अनि एकदमै गोपनीय हुन्छ
Sometimes it says like iron sharpens iron. A good friend is like
एउटा
that.
एउटा लोहाले अर्को लोहालाई धार लगाउने भन्ने एउटा असल साथी त्यस्तो हुन्छ
Meaning that you can have a difference in personality,
विभिन्न प्रकारको व्यक्तित्व हुन सक्छ
sparks,
अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि एउटा एउटा वाद विवाद हुन
and
सक्छ
also you can have a difference in opinions, and that's okay too.
अनि विभिन्न प्रकारको विचारधारा हुन सक्छ त्यो पनि ठिकै छ
In a healthy friendship,
तर एउटा तन्दुरुस्त प्रकारले
you don't
हुन्छ
have to pretend to agree all the time.
अनि हर समयमा चाहिँ मान्नै पर्छ भन्ने खालको व्यवहार चाहिँ देखाउनु पर्दैन
And just we said, faithful are the wounds of a friend.
विश्वासयोग्य त्यो हुन्छ साथीको घाउ पनि
Meaning a friend will tell you when you're wrong,
तपाईँको साथीले तपाईँ गलत छ हुँदाखेरि तपाईँलाई भन्दछ
so as you can correct yourself.
ताकि आफूलाई हामी सुधार्न सकौँ
And then the others we looked at were these for the simple person,
एउटा साधारण व्यक्तिको बारेमा
the adulterer,
एउटा एउटा पाप गर्ने
the apostate,
परमेश्वरबाट टाढो भएका
and the sluggard,
अनि अल्छी व्यक्तिको बारेमा
who is,
हेरेको
lazy.
अनि अल्छी व्यक्तिको बारेमा
And it gives these because we are all tempted in these areas.
अनि यी चरित्रहरू चाहिँ यस कारण दिएको छ किनकि हामी यी सबै चरित्रमा चाहिँ हामी प्रभाव परिरहेको हुन्छ
So that's right. So the simple, the word
Sadharan-
for simple we said is an open door.
एउटा साधारण भन्ने शब्द चाहिँ एउटा खुला दरवाजा जस्तै हो
It means that they just their mind is kind of open,
उनीहरूको मन चाहिँ खुला हुन्छ
not in a good way.
राम्रो प्रकारले
But
होइन
that they let any thoughts come in their mind,
त्यो साधारण भएकोले गर्दा जे कुरो पनि पस्न सक्छ
and this it's okay to have this door open now,
अहिले त्यो यो दरवाजा खुला रहनु ठिकै छ
so we can all come in and go.
ताकि हामी सबैजना भित्र आउन सकौँ
But tomorrow, if Pastor Bishu and Lily they're gone for work and Joshua,
तर
and,
भोलिको दिन
school,
चाहिँ यो घरका मान्छेहरू बाहिर जाने सोच्छ भने चाहिँ
nobody's home, then you don't want to leave it open.
अनि तब चाहिँ यो घरलाई खोला राख्नु सही हुँदैन
So the idea is that if we're simple, we let anybody come into our life.
त्यो सोच चाहिँ यो हो कि हामी साधारण भयो भने चाहिँ हामी जसलाई पनि आफ्नो जीवनमा भित्राउँछौँ
We let any thoughts come into our mind,
कुनै पनि विचारहरू हाम्रो विचार सोचमा ल्याउन
and
थाल्छौँ
we get into any sort of situation.
अनि सबै परिस्थितिमा आउन थाल्छौँ हामी
And the Bible says that the Word of God helps a person close the door.
अनि परमेश्वरको वचनले चाहिँ त्यो दरवाजालाई बन्द गर्न सहायता गर्दछ
Be more careful what situations they get into,
हामी
what people they let into
परिस्थितिमा
their lives,
अलिकति सावधान हुन थाल्छौँ मानिसहरूदेखिको सावधान हुन थाल्छौँ
what thoughts we let into our mind.
कस्तो प्रकारको विचारहरू आउनु थाल्छ त्योमा पनि सावधान हुन्छौँ हामी
And actually what the Bible says is that the Bible makes the simple person skillful.
अनि बाइबलले चाहिँ एउटा के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि एउटा साधारण व्यक्तिलाई चाहिँ चतुर बनाउँदछ
Much more careful.
एकदमै
Okay.
एकदमै त्यो सम्मानिने व्यक्ति बनाउँछ
The next one is this one is the adulterer.
अनि अर्को चाहिँ एउटा पापरै जीवन
And
जिउने
we said
व्यक्ति
this is it's very dangerous
यो चाहिँ एकदमै खतरनाक हो
for the person for a person to get caught in this situation.
अनि यस्ता बेविचारको समस्यामा पक्रै जानु चाहिँ एकदमै खतरनाक हो
And just one thing to say on it, like today we live in in a strange world of mobile phones
आज हामी एउटा अद्भुत संसारमा जिउँछौँ जहाँनिर चाहिँ मोबाइल फोनहरू
and
छ
internet.
अनि
Everybody-
इन्टरनेट छ
internet just in your pocket.
हाम्रो इन्टरनेट हाम्रो पकेटमा हुन्छ
And everyone has access to images, wrong images.
अनि सबैजनाले त्यो
photos.
खराब चित्रहरूलाई हेर्न सक्ने हुन्छ
And this can kind of, they say one of the things that happens is that when people watch those wrong images, there's a release of a hormone called dopamine, I think it's called dopamine.
अब त्यो नराम्रो चित्रहरू चरित्र भिडियोहरू हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा हाम्रो नर्भ्समा चाहिँ डोपामिन भन्ने जुन चाहिँ एउटा केमिकल त्यो रिलिज गर्छ
Just in your mind, and it makes you feel happy, relaxed.
अनि त्यसले गर्दा चाहिँ मलाई एकदम सन्तुष्टि फिल हुन्छ
So actually people get addicted to this dopamine.
अनि डोपामिन भन्ने जुन चाहिँ त्यो पदार्थ चाहिँ हाम्रो दिमागमा निक्लिँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यसमा हामी एउटा एउटा माथिको जस्तो हुन्छौँ
And so as a result, like any drug,
कुनै पनि ड्रग्सले
this isn't like an outside, this is a drug, this is something, a hormone.
यो
that
चाहिँ बाहिरबाट
comes
खाने
from
ड्रग्स
the
होइन
plant.
तर त्यो हामी भित्रबाट जन्मिने ड्रग्स हो
It's a natural body.
एउटा
It's-
प्राकृतिक प्रकारले
It's healthy in the right situations.
सही परिस्थितिमा राम्रो पनि हो
And actually when you're running, if you do a lot of running, dopamine gets released.
जब हामी डुकुरिन्छ त्यति बेला पनि डोपामिन निक्लिन्छ
And if you do walking and that things like
अनि हिँड्दाखेरि पनि निक्लिन्छ
so. But it's like any drugs.
एउटा त्यो दवाई खाएको जस्तै हो
People, anyone who takes heroin, cocaine,
कतिजनाले ड्रग्सहरू लिन्छ त्यो गाँजाहरू लिने
they used to just smoke cigarettes, then smoke hashish, marijuana.
सिगरेट खान्छ उसले गाँजा खानु जान्छ त्यो फेरि अरू कुरोहरू खाँदै जान्छ
It's the same with those that internet
अनि त्यस्तै प्रकारको मताउने पनि इन्टरनेट हो
that people start watching worse images and worse and worse. It goes like that.
अनि मान्छेले त्यो खराब चित्रहरू त्यो मोबाइलमा हेर्न थाल्छ अनि फेरि खराब अझै खराब कुरोहरू हेर्दै जान्छ
And more,
अनि धेरै हेर्न थाल्छ
and then it can lead into whole wrong behavior. And
अनि त्यसले चाहिँ हाम्रो व्यवहारलाई चाहिँ एउटा गलत दिशामा लिएर जाँदछ
so the Bible. So the next one was the apostle, which we just say this was the Christian who was a Christian but then left Christianity.
एउटा एपोस्टल भन्ने व्यक्ति जो चाहिँ एउटा इसाई थियो तर उसले इसाईको जीवनबाट हटेर गएको छ
And it describes one as a man and one as a woman.
एउटा स्त्रीको बारेमा भन्नु छ एउटा पुरुषको बारेमा भन्नु
And
छ
in both cases it says they didn't leave because they didn't like the truth, but they left because they wanted to live their own lifestyle.
उनीहरूले यसकारण इसाई जीवन छोडेको होइन कि उनीहरूलाई चाहिँदैन भनेर तर उनीहरूले आफ्नै अनुसार जिउन चाहन्थे त्यसले गर्दा उनीहरूले त्यो इसाई जीवन छोडेको छ
And then the last one we talked about was the sluggard.
अनि अल्छी व्यक्तिको बारेमा
And the sluggard is just, it says that, what did it say? It said that the sluggard is, it says, go to the ant, you sluggard.
ए अल्छीहरू जाऊ त्यो कमिदाहरू कहाँ जाऊ
That the ant is very small,
यिनीहरू सानो हुन्छ
but works very hard.
तर एकदमै मेहनत
You ever
गर्दछ
see them and they carry these big heavy weights almost the
तपाईँ
size of
हामीले
themselves.
देख्न सक्छौँ त्यो कमिनाले कत्रो ठुलो आफूभन्दा ठुलो वजन
The other
उठाइरहेको
thing it
हुन्छ
says that in the summer it prepares for the winter, prepares its food for the winter.
गरम समयमा तिनीहरूले आउने ठन्डा समयको लागि
So
खाना
it
तयार
plans
गर्दछ
in advance.
अनि त्यो कमिनाहरू पहिल्यैदेखिको काम गर्ने हुन्छ
Whereas, and then the other thing it says, he has no ruler or no guide.
अनि उनीहरूकोमा केही नाप्ने कुरो हुँदैन केही कुरो दिशा दिने कुरो हुँदैन
That the ant would work without anyone telling him to work.
अनि कसैले तिनीहरूलाई हकडक गर्नु पर्दैन तर उनीहरू आफै गरिरहेको हुन्छ
Ant
काम।
will make plans for the future without anyone telling him to make plans for the future.
कमिलाहरूले भविष्यको बारेमा योजना बनाउँछ कसैले नभनी पनि बनाउँदछ
And then also it says no overseer, that sometimes we need, if somebody's telling us what to do, we'll do it, but when they stop telling us, we stop doing it.
अनि कतिजनाले केही कुरो गर्नको लागि जब भन्छ अन्त मात्रै गर्ने हुन्छ अनि जब भन्दैन नगर्ने हुन्छ
So it's an unusual challenge, like sometimes you say, I do work hard,
अनि कहिले भन्छ म एकदमै मेहनत गर्छु
when the boss is there.
जब चाहिँ बस त्यहाँनिर हुन्छ
I do work hard,
जब त्यहाँ म काम गर्छु गर्छु म
when, mom is there.
जब चाहिँ मेरो आमा हुँदछ
But he's saying, but to be able to do it when nobody's there.
त्यति नै बेला गर्नु जति बेला कोही पनि हुँदैन त्यति बेला मेहनत गर्नु कुरा गरिरहेको छु यहाँ
Okay, so this one we are going to look at the last 4 characters. In the notes it says 3, but there's actually 4. Contentious.
वाद विवादलाई बढाउने व्यक्ति.
You know that one? This one. And the angry person.
रिसाउने व्यक्ति.
And then the next one is not the nice guys. I'll have to find some nice guys. And the last one is this one.
ज्यादा खुसुर खुसुर गर्ने.
Confident. Confident. So confident is the trustworthy person.
कुनै व्यक्तिलाई जसमा चाहिँ हामी भरोसा गर्न सक्छौँ.
Shall I change that? The trustworthy person.
भरोसा गर्न सक्ने व्यक्तिहरू.
A trust person. So contentious person is a person who argues a lot.
अनि एउटा यस्तो व्यक्ति जसले चाहिँ धेरै ज्यादा वाद विवाद गर्छ.
Always arguing.
वाद विवादै गरिरहेको हुन्छ.
Why and the reason is that we all can do this a little bit.
अनि यो चाहिँ हामी सबैजना गर्ने गर्छौँ.
Some more, some less.
कसैजनाले धेरै गर्छ, कसैजनाले कम्ती गर्छ.
Or we can all be simple a little bit.
अनि धेरै गर्दाखेरि अनि साधारण पनि हुन्छ.
Be lazy a little bit.
अनि अलिकति अल्छी पनि हुन्छ.
So he's just saying if you have any of these a little bit in it, find it and let's see can we.
यदि हामीमा यी चरित्रहरू छ भने त्यसलाई भेटौ अनि त्यसलाई के
So we can
बनाउन
look at the
सक्छौँ.
Proverbs. It's 26 verse 21, chapter 26 verse 21.
26 को 21 हामी हेर्नेछौँ. हितोपदेश 26 को 21 26 21.
Yeah.
26 को 21 हितोपदेश 26 को 21.
Good for us. Like it says, Paul told Timothy, the servant of God must not strive.
परमेश्वरका सेवकहरू कहिले पनि दबाउमा हुनु भएन.
And there we are servants of God.
हामी परमेश्वरका सेवकहरू छौँ.
But be gentle to all men.
तर सबैसँग एकदमै नम्रतापूर्वक रह.
And able to explain things to them.
अनि उनीहरूलाई त्यो कुरालाई बताउन सक्छौ.
Lead them in the right way.
अनि सही दिशामा उनीहरूलाई बताउन.
Even if they're arguing with you.
उनीहरूले जानी बुझे पनि यदि वाद विवाद गर्दैछ भने पनि.
And so some people are good at that.
अनि त्यो कतिजना व्यक्तिहरू त्यसमा राम्रो हुन्छन्.
Like a person who is able to be gentle.
अनि जो चाहिँ एकदमै नम्र बुझ्दछ.
Not strive.
अनि एकदमै
people
जबरजस्ती गर्ने हैन.
Like that. Sometimes it's saying that as a servant of God you have to be able to be this way.
अनि जब हामी सेवक बनिन्छ परमेश्वरको हामी त्यस्तो हुनुपर्ने छ, नम्र हुनुपर्दछ.
And so the Proverbs says, you want to read it? Well, let me read it in English. It says 26:21. As coals are to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife.
भुङ्ग्राको लागि कोइला र आगोको लागि दाउरा झै कलह सल्काउनलाई कोइला चल्काउन नै होला. कलह चल्काउनलाई निम्ति झगडिया मानिस हुन्छ.
So it's you put wood on the fire.
जसरी हामी आगोमा दाउरा हाल्छौँ.
You put more wood on the fire.
अझै दाउरा हाल्छौँ धेरै.
With a little fire.
अलिकति त्यो आगोले पनि.
Put some bigger sticks.
ठुल्ठुलो दाउरा हाल्दिनु भयो भने.
Then the bigger ones.
अझै ठुलो हाल्दिनु भयो भने.
Keeps getting bigger.
अझै ठुलो हुँदै जान्छ.
And then finally it burns down.
अनि के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि त्यो आगो तल.
And you put more sticks on.
अनि अझै दाउरा हाल्दिनुस्.
So it's saying that is what if someone keeps just getting arguing.
अनि कतिजना चाहिँ ज्यादा वाद विवाद गर्दैछ भने.
It's like keep throwing wood on the fire.
अनि त्यो चाहिँ एउटा आगोमा दाउरा फ्याँकिराख.
So contention or strife.
अनि त्यो वाद विवाद गर्ने मान्छे चाहिँ जबरजस्तीको व्यक्ति हुन्छ.
It's like a wood fire.
अनि एउटा त्यो दाउराको आगो जस्तै हो.
It takes a while to start it.
अनि अलिकति समय लाग्छ त्यो जल्नको लागि.
Slowly starts.
आस्तेले सुरु हुन्छ.
But then a little bit more.
अलिकति ज्यादा.
Why did you say that?
किन त्यसो भनेको तिमीले? मैले भनिन.
You did say.
तिमीले भन्यौ.
The last time you did that too.
तिमीले पिछले बार पनि तिमीले त्यसै गरेको थियौ.
Why did you put that there?
किन त्यहाँनिर राख्यौ तिमीले?
You always do that.
तिमी जहिले त्यस्तै गर्छौ.
Just keep more wood.
अझै ढुङ्गा.
Can you drop it? के त्यो खत्म गर्न सक्छौ?
के त्यो खत्म गर्न सक्छौ?
Okay. Keep more wood. 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 Why'd you do that?
किन त्यसो गरेको तिमीले?
Just keep.
फेरि
more.
गरिबस्छ भनी गरिबस्छ
And the fire just until it.
अझै आगो बढ्दै बढ्दै जान्छ
And actually, that's you slowly just till the other person just the fire comes up in the other person.
अनि अर्को व्यक्तिकोमा चाहिँ त्यो आगो बल्दै 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 जान्छ
So it says the only way you stop that anger coming up in the other person is you stop putting wood on the fire.
अनि त एउटै तरिका हो त्यो रिसलाई चाहिँ कम गर्नु हो भने चाहिँ तिमी त्यो दाउरा हाल्नु छोड
That's words,
शब्द
that look that you give,
जुन चाहिँ प्रकारको हेराइ हामी दिन्छौँ
the words that you don't say.
अनि जुन चाहिँ शब्द जुन चाहिँ कुरो नभन्नु पर्ने
Just that kind of silent treatment.
अनि एकदम चुपचापले एउटा दबाई दिन्छौँ हामी
So and actually, so anger is like a gas stove.
अनि रिस चाहिँ ग्यासको चुल्हा जस्तै हो
You just
सुल्झा
you can just get it like that. But contention is wood. It's slow.
तर त्यो वाद विवाद गर्ने व्यक्तिहरू चाहिँ एकदमै
Just
आस्ते
keep at
हुन्छ
it. Keep at it.
दाउरा
So-
हालेको हालेकै
so
हुरुर बढेको बढेकै दाउरा हालेकै हुरुर बढेको
they
बढेकै
won't stop till the fire burns. So that
अब
we can do that.
बन्द हुँदैन जबसम्म
So,
आगो
so
ठुलो
why
हुँदैन।
does the Proverbs tell us about it?
किन हितोपदेशले यसले बारेमा बताउँछ किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ
Because one is we can do it to other people.
एउटा कारण चाहिँ हामीले अरूलाई गर्न सक्छौँ त्यस्तो
And the second thing is people do it to us.
अनि दोस्रो कारण चाहिँ मानिसहरूले हामीलाई गर्न
And saying,
सक्छ
you've got to learn to control your spirit when they keep throwing wood on your fire.
हामीले हाम्रो आत्मालाई नियन्त्रण राख्न सिक्नुपर्छ जसले जब चाहिँ उनीहरूले दाउरा हाल्छ
And if you
हामीलाई।
do it to other people to do it. So that's why it's
अनि
teaching us.
मैले गर्दाखेरि पनि अनि उनीहरूले हामी माथि गर्दा
And then it gives another one, same idea, but in chapter 17, verse 14, it says,
17को 14मा यहाँ भनेको छ
the beginning of strife is as when you get a leak in your tank.
कलह सुरु हुनु बाद भत्किनु जस्तो हो त्यसैले वाद विवाद चर्किनु भन्दा अघि नै त्यसलाई बन्द गर
Or as one lets in water, so stop before it gets too big. So it's kind of, again, I think we said it, you have a little leak in the roof here,
हामीले अस्तिको हप्ता भनेको जस्तै यहाँनिर हेर्छ हामी यो छप्परमा सानो दुलो भएको जस्तै
and then 2 days later you see the hole's got a little bigger,
अनि 2 दिनको बाद हामी हेर्छ अलिक ठुलो भएको छ
and
दुलो
then you see the water spreading.
अनि पानी फैलेको देख्छौँ
You can see it spreading on the ceiling.
पानी फैलेको देख्छौँ
Stains,
छप्परमा
and then it gets,
नराम्रो दाग बस्दछ
and then all of a sudden,
अनि एक्कासी त्यो तल माथिको तल झर्छ
so it's saying that that it just starts small, it just keeps building up, and then it comes
अनि
up like that.
सानोबाट सुरु गर्छ तर अझै बढ्दै 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 जान्छ
So last one, it says in
Antima.
chapter 30, it says,
30मा
surely the churning of milk brings forth butter. 30, chapter 30, verse 33.
33 30को 33मा किनभने दुध मथेर घिउ निस्कन्छ र
So does the forcing of wrath bring forth strife.
नाक बङ्गाउने भने जसरी रगत निस्कन्छ
And verse 32 says, if you've done foolishly, lifting up yourself, and you have thought evil, put your hand on your mouth.
यदि तैले मूर्ख चाल चलेर आफैलाई फुर्काइस् भने वा तैले खराबीको योजना गरेको छस् भने तेरो मुखमा हात राखिहाल
Because if you keep stirring the milk, it'll turn into butter.
अनि तिमीले दुधलाई चलाइरह्यो भने त्यसमा के हुन्छ घिउ
So
निक्लिन्छ
he's saying it's bad enough to think evil of the other person,
अनि हामी अरूको बारेमा चाहिँ गलत सोच्नु एकदमै खराब हो
but don't say it.
तर नभन मुखबाट
So it's bad enough that you let your temper get up
अनि त्यसले चाहिँ आफ्नो भित्रको रिसलाई
and all the
उब्जाउँछ
angry thoughts come.
अनि एउटा रिसाउने कुराहरू आउँदछ
But he said, no, don't let it come out in angry
तिम्रो
words.
त्यो शब्दहरूबाट बाहिर ननिक्लोस्
Stop it now.
त्यहीँनिर
So-
बन्द गर
So this is what he said. And then he says, if you keep stirring milk,
यदि त्यो दुधलाई फिटिरह्यो
you're going to get butter.
अनि त्यसबाट तिम्रो घिउ निक्लिन्छ
If you keep thinking those thoughts and keep saying those words,
अनि यदि हामी त्यो कुरो सोचिबस्छौँ र त्यो शब्द बोलिबस्छौँ भने
there you go. You change, the thing changes.
अनि कतिवटा कुरो परिवर्तन हुँदैछ
You made the person hard. Like
अनि
butter.
त्यो व्यक्तिलाई कडक बनाउँदैछौ
And it's hard to change. So he just basically says, like, stop stirring the pot.
अनि त्यो भाँडालाई चाहिँ फिर्काउनु चाहिँ
And
बन्द गर
because, so I don't know, you ever make, I never saw that, but you make butter, you keep
हामीले थाहा
stirring
छ
the
कसरी
thing.
घिउ बनाउँछ
I'm sure you know this, right? And then it'll get hard.
अनि त्यो कडक
I know the cream, like that one.
त्यो क्रिमलाई चाहिँ
And then
फिर्दाखेरि
it
चाहिँ
gets stiff, right?
अनि त्यसको बादमा कडक
So
हुँदैछ
that's how a person's emotions get stirred.
त्यस्तै प्रकारले चाहिँ एउटा मान्छेको भावना चाहिँ
You keep at
छचल्किन्छ
them, you keep at them, keep
त्यसलाई
stirring,
फिटिरहन्छौँ
keep stirring.
फिटिरहन्छौँ फिटिरहन्छौँ
Look how calm they are.
अनि शान्त भएको जस्तै छ
Then it changes.
तर परिवर्तन
And
हुन्छ
it turns into butter.
अनि त्यो कडक
Then
भइपर्छ
it changes and you've made them angry.
अनि त्यो परिवर्तन हुन्छ अनि फेरि रिसाउन थाल्छ
So he's saying if there's contention, if you're causing it, like stop stirring the pot.
यदि तिमी चाहिँ त्यसको कारण बनेको छौ भने चाहिँ त्यो बन्द गर
Stop
छर्काउनु
churning the milk.
अनि त्यो छचल्किन आफूभित्र छचल्किन बन्द गर
Stop putting wood on the fire.
अनि त्यो आगोमाथि दाउरा हाल्नु बन्द गर
And it'll go down.
अनि तल जान्छ
It'll just go down and it'll...
तल गइहाल्छ
And even if they want you to speak more, the best time.
यदि त्यो व्यक्तिले तपाईँलाई धेरै बोलेको चाहन्छ पनि भने चुपचाप बसेको नै एकदम राम्रो
Now I have to add this for women's equality.
अनि यसको लागि चाहिँ हामी स्त्रीहरूलाई भन्न चाहन्छौँ
It's not confined to men.
अनि मान्छे पुरुषको लागि चाहिँ होइन
Proverbs 21:19. Though generally it says men.
अनि यो चाहिँ पुरुषहरूको लागि नै 21:19
Yeah, it is better.
21 को 19 मा यस प्रकारले भन्छ
It's better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. 21:19.
21:19 झगडालु र रिसालु पत्नीसँग बस्नु भन्दा बरु मरुभूमिमा बस्नु बेस
So that's just for women's equality. I don't want you to feel left.
स्त्रीहरूको लागि हो यो चाहिँ
Okay, 27:15.
27 को 15
A continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike.
झगडिया पत्नी वर्षाको दिनमा एकरो तप तप चुने झरी जस्तो हो
So there you go. Who put that in the Bible?
कसले हाले त्यो बाइबलमा
So that's for, it's generally dealing with men, but that is there for.
तर हामी पुरुषहरूको लागि तर यो स्त्रीहरूको लागि लेखेको छ
But just to say to add this, it's not easy to stop
तर यो एउटा कुरो जोड्न चाहन्छु
for a man or a woman.
स्त्री या पुरुषलाई त्यो
When you
कुरोलाई
get-
बन्द गर्नु
Yes,
गाह्रो
it's
छ
easy when you're with your friend.
तपाईँ आफ्नो
It's
साथीसँग
easy when
सजिलो
you're with
छ
the people you get along with.
जोसँग तपाईँ हुनुहुन्छ त्योसँग सजिलो हुन्छ
But when that person comes along,
तर त्यो व्यक्ति चाहिँ साथमा हुँदछ
like that person,
त्यो व्यक्ति
then it's not easy.
तब चाहिँ गाह्रो
They
पर्छ
just make you, they stir you the wrong way.
अनि यसले चाहिँ हामी भित्र अलग्गै गलत प्रकारले छचल्काउँछ
And that person is there for everybody. We all have those people, that
अनि
type of people.
त्यस्ता व्यक्तिहरू सबैको जीवनमा हुँदछ
So he says, this is the good Proverbs 20:3.
20 को 3 मा
It is an honor for a man or a woman to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling.
कलह नचाहनु मानिसहरूको निम्ति आदरणीय कुरो हो तर हरेक मूर्ख चाहिँ कलह मचाउने छिटो हुन्छ
It's an honor if you stop putting wood on the fire.
यो चाहिँ एकदमै सम्मानित कुरो हो त्यो आगोमा दाउरा नहाल्नु
It's
चाहिँ
an honor if you stop stirring the milk.
यो चाहिँ एउटा आदरणीय कुरा हो यदि तिमीले त्यो दुधलाई चाहिँ छचल्काएनौ भने चाहिँ
You just, I'm sorry, you're right,
म क्षमा चाहन्छु तिमी सही थियौ
but they're not right.
तर त्यो सही होइन
But you just have to let it go. You have
त्यसले
to.
गर्दाखेरि त्यो सही नभए पनि शान्त गरौँ न कि त्यो कुरो गर्नुपर्छ
Sure.
ठिकै छ
But not, yeah, okay. That's just another bad attitude.
तर त्यो रिसले ल ठिकै छ भनेर चाहिँ
But
हामी भन्दैनौँ
it's
त्यो
an
गलत भइहाल्छ
it's saying it's an honor.
यो चाहिँ सम्मानीय हो
It's very hard.
गाह्रो छ
And then it says every fool will be meddling.
अनि एउटा हरेक मूर्ख चाहिँ बोलिरहने हुन्छ
So, so It's not easy.
गाह्रो सजिलो छैन।
Forgiveness means you give up your right to be right.
क्षमा दिनु भनेको चाहिँ आफूमा भएको अधिकारलाई चाहिँ समर्पण गर्नु।
Okay, so the next one it's his brother, his big brother called Mr. Angry.
अनि त्यसकै ठुलो दाजु चाहिँ सामान्य रिस हो,
Mr. Angry is different
आदरणीय रिस।
because he's the gas stove.
अनि यो चाहिँ एउटा ग्यास चुल्हा
He
जस्तै हो।
says strife, this contention is like wood on the fire, slowly.
झगडा ल्याउने के ढिट व्यक्तिहरू चाहिँ आस्ते आस्तेले रिस ल्याउँछ।
But anger is the gas stove.
अनि रिस चाहिँ त्यो एउटा ग्यास स्टोभ गरेर सुरु भइहाल्छ।
You ever see the chai guy? He has the one. Some have that like these rings, but some have the one that just shoots up.
तपाईँलाई थाहा छ कतिवटा चायवालाहरू त्यो एउटा सानो सानो त्यो उयो हुन्छ, तपाईँलाई थाहा छ त्यो एक प्रकारले त्यो मजाले उनीहरूले गरिरहेको हुन्छ गरेर आवाज आउँछ।
Anger is that quick burst,
अनि रिस पनि त्यस्तै प्रकारको हुन्छ।
and sometimes it can go down, but if it does, it just means you turn the dial down.
अनि कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ तल हुनसक्छ, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति कम्ती
But
गर्नुपर्छ।
it's burning, and all I have to do is just.
अनि धेरै गर्नु हुँदैन, खालि ज्यादा मात्रै गर्नुपर्छ,
Right.
सिधो आइहाल्छ।
And anger is like I think we said it in a previous class. It's an emotion that God gives us.
अनि रिस चाहिँ एउटा भावना हो परमेश्वर दिनुभएको।
It's not always bad, but it's mostly bad.
सधैँभरि चाहिँ खराब हो भन्ने कुरो त होइन, तर धेरै जस्तो खराब नै हुन्छ।
It's a warning emotion,
अनि हामीलाई एउटा चेतावनी दिने भावना हो।
and it usually comes when somebody has attacked you, either insulted you, attacked you,
अनि
threatened you.
एउटा रिस चाहिँ यो प्रकारले आउँछ किनकि कसैले तपाईँलाई आक्रमण गरिरहेको छ, तपाईँलाई अपमान गरिरहेको छ।
But the problem is it's often our pride only that gets attacked.
तर त्यसले चाहिँ हाम्रो घमण्डलाई आक्रमण गरेको हुनाले
So
गर्दा
it's
चाहिँ
called,
हाम्रै नै हो।
they
कारण
call
चाहिँ।
it a fight or flight in English.
अनि एउटा शब्द छ अङ्ग्रेजीमा, एउटा लडाई गर या त तिमी भाग।
So fight or flight.
लडाई गर या त भाग।
So what happens when you get angry is that the veins get a little smaller.
अनि के हुन्छ भन्दा रिसाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो नसाहरू चाहिँ पतला हुँदै जान्छ।
Did you ever see that come out in the neck?
तपाईँले देख्नु भएको छ हाम्रो यो नसा निक्लिन्छ
Veins get a
रिसाउँदाखेरि।
little smaller and the blood pumps a little faster.
अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ त्यो खुन चाहिँ ज्यादा निक्लिन थाल्छ।
And also there's a release of adrenaline.
अनि ड्रेनालिन भन्ने एउटा त्यो निक्लिन्छ,
That's
त्यहाँदेखि रिस हुन्छ।
that anger. And the reason it's there is that if you're attacked,
अनि यो कारण चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ यहाँ त्यहाँनिर यस कारण चाहिँ किनकि तपाईँलाई यदि
the
आक्रमण गर्यो भने
adrenaline gives you strength to flight, run,
अनि त्योले चाहिँ के गर्छ भने तपाईँलाई भाग्न लागि साथ
or
दिन्छ
fight.
या त लडाई गर्न लागि दिन्छ।
So that anger, it's a powerful emotion.
अनि त्यो रिस चाहिँ एउटा असल एउटा भावना हो।
And so some people recognize that.
अनि कतिजनाले त्यो कुरोहरू देख्दछ।
When I get angry,
जब म रिसाउँछु पुरा,
and they kind of recognize, people quieten down when I get angry.
अनि म रिसाउँदाखेरि अरू चुप्प लागेको देखेर
And
अनुभव
I
गर्छु।
start to control the house.
अनि म त्यो घरलाई नियन्त्रण गर्न थाल्छु
And so because it is, they like it.
किनकि त्यसले त्यो मन पराउँछ।
So the Bible says this, like, man's anger doesn't bring about God's results.
मान्छेको रिसले चाहिँ परमेश्वरको निर्णय ल्याउँदैन।
So, but what does it bring about?
तर के ल्याउँछ?
It means I can control this person.
यो व्यक्तिलाई म नियन्त्रण गर्न सक्छु।
I can control this situation.
त्यो परिस्थितिलाई म नियन्त्रण गर्न सक्छु।
When I get angry,
जब म रिसाउँछु,
when I raise my voice strong,
जब मेरो आवाजलाई म छिटो कडक प्रकारले बढाउँछु,
people just kind of like, sure,
ल तरकारी व्यक्ति
back off a little. And I generally get my way.
अनि म आफ्नो बाटो चाहिँ म पाइहाल्छु।
So they say, I find it a useful tool.
अनि यो चाहिँ मेरो लागि एउटा असल हतियार बन्दछ।
But it doesn't bring God's results.
तर यसले चाहिँ परमेश्वरको निर्णय ल्याउँदैन।
Because you know, you're creating a bad atmosphere. Sure, you've controlled the situation, but you've made a bad atmosphere.
हुनसक्छ तपाईँले त्यो परिस्थितिलाई नियन्त्रण गर्न सकेको हुनसक्छ तर तपाईँको चरित्र त्यहाँनिर
And
खराब
you're not going to
देखिरहेको छ
make close friendships.
तर त्यसले नजदिक साथी मित्र ल्याउँदैन
So it says in Ecclesiastes, don't be hasty in your spirit to be angry.
तिमी आफ्नो आत्मामा एकदमै कठोर नबन जब तिमी रिसाउँछौ
Don't be quick to put the gas up.
अनि छिट्टो रिसाउने नहुँ
Then he says, anger rests in the heart of a fool.
अनि रिस चाहिँ मूर्ख व्यक्तिहरूको हृदयमा बास गर्दछ
It rests just here.
त्यहीँनिर ठ्याक्क बसेको हुन्छ
So that meaning, when I want, I can just take it and
अनि त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ यो कि जब मलाई चाहिन्छ त्यहाँबाट निकाल्न सक्छु र फ्याँक्न सक्छु
so Pastor Shala jokes this way.
पास्टर सालेसले एउटा हँसी गर्नुहुन्छ
He says, I keep my anger in my sock.
अनि मेरो रिसलाई चाहिँ म मेरो मोचा मुनि राख्दैछु
So when somebody, you know, says something that would make
कसैले
me
मलाई
angry,
केही कुरो भन्छ मलाई रिस उठ्छ
it doesn't just come from here.
अनि त्यो यहाँबाट यहाँ छेउबाट आउँदैन
Hold on a second. My anger, hold on a second.
एकछिन म हेरेर भने मेरो रिस कहाँनिर छ भनेर मोचा खोल्न थाल्छ तल राखेकोले
By
गर्दा
the time I get it, it's like,
जबसम्म चाहिँ त्यो रिस चाहिँ माथि आउँछ
he just means
त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ के भनेको चाहिँ
I've learned not to react quickly.
अनि मैले सिकेको छु कि म प्रतिक्रिया म गर्दिनँ अरूको प्रति
There's
चाहिँ।
even a proverb that says that the wise man decides to get angry later.
अनि हितोपदेशमा एउटा यो पनि छ कि एउटा बुद्धिमानी मान्छे चाहिँ बादमा रिसाउँछ अरे
And you have to get angry right now.
अनि रिस चाहिँ अहिले गरिहाल्नुपर्छ
He says he decides to get angry. I'll get angry tomorrow.
तर एउटा बुद्धिमानी मान्छेले चाहिँ भोलि रिसाउँछु भनेर सोच्छ अरे
There was a famous artist called Michelangelo,
एउटा असल एउटा चित्रकार थियो एउटा माइकल एन्जेलो भन्ने
and he made these sculptures of statues. Really,
अनि उसले एउटा मूर्ति बनायो
and they're like today they're worth millions of
अनि
dollars.
आज चाहिँ करोड लाखौँ रुपियाँमा त्यसको कीमत हुन्छ
So, and not like crores.
करोड रुपियाँमा
So, but he had one made,
अनि
almost,
उसले एउटा बनाएको थियो
and he had just one boy helping him,
अनि एउटा केटाले उसलाई सहायता गरिरहेको थियो
and carelessly smashed it.
अनि के हुन्छ भने त्यो
And he was like,
त्यो त्यो उसको आफ्नो केयरलेसले
and
गर्दाखेरि
he
उसले
came into
लडाउँछ
the room and he saw it smashed,
अनि देख्छ उसले भत्काएको
and he just kind of went. He says, I'll talk to you tomorrow because I'm a little angry now.
म तिमीसँग भोलि बात गर्छु किनकि आज म रिसाइरहेको छु
And he was able to not speak in his anger.
अनि उसले रिसाको बेला बोल्नु नसक्ने त्यो उसले क्षमता
So,
पाउँछ
you know, prisons are full of people who have just emotionally reacted.
अनि जेल खानामा चाहिँ धेरै त्यस्ता व्यक्तिहरू हुन्छ जसले चाहिँ भावनात्मक प्रकारले प्रतिक्रिया
Just
गरेको
got
हुन्छ
angry, they had a gun and they shot someone.
ऊ रिसाएको छ उसकोमा बन्दुक हुन्छ उसले कसैलाई
Had a
मारिदिन्छ
knife and they just are.
उसको हातमा एउटा चक्कु हुन्छ उसले
And they're
मारिदिन्छ
not really bad people, but their emotion got.
उनीहरू एकदमै खराब व्यक्ति होइन तर उनीहरूको भावना चाहिँ गलत समयमा प्रयोग गरेकोले गर्दा खराब भएको छ
So it says a soft answer turns away anger.
एउटा हल्का शब्दले चाहिँ रिसलाई ठन्डा गराउँदछ
So in the Old Testament, the word for patience is, I think you've heard this before, is long. It's long nose.
पुरानो नियममा धैर्य राख्नु भनेको चाहिँ लामो नाक हुनु हो
Or also long nostril.
या त लामो नाक हुनु भन्ने
That's the word for patience.
त्यो चाहिँ एउटा धैर्यताको एउटा शब्द हो
And it says that God is long nosed
अनि त्यो भन्नुको अर्थ चाहिँ परमेश्वर चाहिँ लामो नाक भएको हुनुहुन्छ
and long nostrils.
उनीहरूको
And
नाक
actually, a third one, it uses long winged.
अनि उहाँको चाहिँ लामो पखेटा छ भनेको
And what it means is that
त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि
because in
चाहिँ
the Jews use these pictures like the open door for simple person.
यहुदीहरूले त्यो एउटा चित्र प्रयोग गर्थे खोला दरवाजा
So
भन्ने
for
कुराहरू
patience, it is long nose. That
अनि
you've got a very long
धैर्य राख्नु
nose.
भनेको चाहिँ लामो नाक हुनु
And
भने
the idea is when you get angry, the blood goes to your nose.
अनि जब त्यो त्यो कुरा चाहिँ यो हो कि जब हामी रिसाउँछौँ हाम्रो
But if
खुन
you
चाहिँ
have
नाकमा आउँछ
if you have a very long nose,
यदि
blood
तपाईँको
has
नाक
to go
चाहिँ
a
लामो छ
long
भने
way before you get angry.
अनि त्यो
That's the idea.
लामो समय लाग्छ जब तपाईँ रिसाउनुहुन्छ
And long nostril
अनि त्यो लामो नाकको दुलो
is that like with anger sometimes they say it goes
अनि रिसाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो नाकबाट हामी गरेर रिसाउँछ
So
हामी
he's saying that if you have a long nose,
अनि एउटा तिम्रो यदि लामो नाक छ भने
it's a long time before you get it, like a bull.
अनि एउटा गुवाँसो जस्तो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो
So it's saying,
हावा निक्लिनु समय लाग्छ
don't let your emotion. That's the idea, and it says God is long
एउटा
nosed.
विचार चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तिम्रो आफ्नो भावनालाई छिट्टो प्रतिक्रिया
He's able
नगरिहाल्छ
to calm his spirit.
आफ्नो
And
आत्मामा
he's able to
धरेर
not get his emotions stirred that way.
एकदमै आफ्नो भावनालाई नचचल्काऊ
So it's saying be long nosed with people.
अनि मानिसहरूप्रति लामो नाक
And
भएको
the last
जस्तो
one
भयो।
is long winged.
अनि अन्तिम चाहिँ
And
लामो
the
पखेटा
idea is like an eagle
तपाईँले चिल देख्नु भएको छ
that they just get in the sky and they just drift. They just go that.
अनि खालि उनीहरू माथि आकाशमा जान्छ उनीहरू खालि यसो हात मात्रै
And
हलाउँछ
they don't have to do, and they just float.
अनि उनीहरूले केही गर्नु पर्दैन त्यहाँ आफै उड्दै उठ्छ
And the idea it's a calm spirit.
अनि त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ शान्त भएको
They're
आत्मा
able to keep their heart calm.
उनीहरूले आफ्नो हृदयलाई शान्त
The
राख्न सक्छ
opposite to the long wing is short wing.
अनि त्यसको विपरीत चाहिँ लामो पखेटाको चाहिँ छोटो पखेटा हो
Short wing is this way,
अनि छोटो पखेटा चाहिँ फरफर हुन्छ
meaning you get in a flap,
अनि छिट्टो
get all
बोल्नु छिट्टो कुरो हुने हुन्छ
worked up.
एकदम सबै कुरो छिट्टो गर्ने हुन्छ
So, but he's saying, try to keep your spirit calm.
किनकि तिम्रो आफ्नो आत्मालाई चाहिँ एकदमै शान्त राख्ने कोसिस गर
And because it's the opposite to anger.
किनकि त्यसको विपरीत चाहिँ रिसको कुरो हो
Anger is a quick spirit,
अनि रिस चाहिँ एउटा छिट्टो आत्मा
and a fast, quick.
छिट्टो अनि तुरन्त भइहाल्ने कुरो हो
So that's how he says. So we'll just go with this one. The next one is one which we all know about. It's chapter 11, verse 13,
11को 13मा
and it says
पढ्नु त कसरी
11 and 13, and it says,
11को 13
a talebearer reveals secrets, but he that is a faithful spirit conceals the matter.
नेपालीमा भन्नुहुन्छ पुरौटेले गोप्य भरोसामा आदत पुर्याउँछ तर विश्वसनीय मानिसले कुरा गुप्तमै राख्छ
So a talebearer, actually a talebearer is someone who carries tales, stories.
अनि एउटा कथा भन्ने व्यक्तिले चाहिँ जसले चाहिँ कथा लिएर हिँड्दछ
That's it. He's someone who carries stories around him.
अनि उसले चाहिँ आफ्नो कथा लिएर हिँड्ने गर्छ
Like the veg wallet carries cauliflower and potatoes and onions.
सब्जी बेच्नेहरूले चाहिँ फुलकोपी लिन्छ अनि आलु दिन्छ प्याज दिन्छ
Fruit wallets carrying mangoes and grapes and
अनि फलफुल लिने त्योहरूको आँप लिन्छ अङ्गुर
and the
लिन्छ
talebearer is carrying stories with him.
अनि त्यो कथा लिने व्यक्तिहरू चाहिँ उनीहरूले कथा लिएर हिँड्दछ
I have a nice juicy story about him.
मेरोमा एउटा राम्रो असल कथा छ त्यसको बारेमा
Matey. Yes.
दामी खालके कुरा छ म भन्छु
I
तिमीलाई
have a nice juicy story about her.
अनि उसको बारेमा सानो कथा छ राम्रो कुरा छ
I have a story about him.
उसको बारेमा पनि मेरोमा अलिकति कथा छ
I got what? You want any?
के कुरो तिमीलाई चाहिन्छ अलिकति
Very sweet.
दामी मिठो छ
2 kilo.
तिमीलाई चाहिन्छ 2 किलो चाहिन्छ
So that's why he's called a talebearer.
त्यसै कारणले चाहिँ उसले भन्छ त्यो
He
कथा
carries
सुनाउने
them around with him and he's selling them.
उसले कथा सुनाउँछ अनि अरूलाई बेच्दछ
How much?
कति
I just want your attention, that's all.
खाली मलाई तिम्रो खाली तिम्रो ध्यान मात्रै चाहिन्छ मलाई ए ओ त्यस्तो पो हो ओके त्यस्तो पो हो
That's all I want.
खाली एउटा तपाईँको
For
ध्यान
the
मात्रै
real
चाहिन्छ
good ones, I want a lot of attention.
तर अब राम्रो राम्रो कथाको लागि तिमीहरूको धेरै ध्यान
That's his
चाहिन्छ
product he sells.
अनि त्यही प्रडक्ट चाहिँ उसले बेच्दछ
And because he's selling it, he has to go get them.
अनि किनकि उसले बेच्नु पर्ने हो त्यसले गर्दा उसले त्यो कथा किन्नु हेर्नु
So he
जानुपर्छ
goes to the market to get some stories.
अनि ऊ मार्केटमा जान्छ अनि त्यो कथाहरू किन्न जान्छ
He'll come to you, talk with you.
तपाईँसँग बात गर्दा त्यो व्यक्तिले अच्छा त्यस्तो ओके ओके ए त्यस्तो थियो ओके ठिकै छ
How's things?
ए के कस्तो छ त्यो समय सबैको ठिक छ ओके भन्दैछ
And then the person opens up to him.
अनि ऊ व्यक्तिले त्यो अझै खोलिनै जान्छ
And then he goes and tells it everyone.
अनि उसले सबैलाई भन्नु थाल्छ
It says, we'll read it. It's Psalm 41, verse 6. It says, if he comes to see me, he just talks.
भजन सङ्ग्रह 41
It's Psalm, but this is Psalm. It's in the Psalm. Psalm 41 verse 6. I know we're in the Proverbs.
41 41 को 6 मा
And it says, if he comes to see me,
यदि ऊ मलाई भेट्न आउँछ भने
he talks vanity.
ऊ बेअर्थको कुरा गर्दछ
He gathers iniquity,
उसले एउटा बेफाल्तु कुरा
and when he
गर्दछ
goes, he tells it to everybody.
अनि उसले अरूलाई गएर सबै कुरा भन्दछ
So that's who he is.
त्यस्ता खालको त्यो व्यक्ति हो
And he said, so there's a range in the Proverbs. There's a range of the talebearer, the gossip.
यो हितोपदेशमा विभिन्न प्रकारको बोलाउने व्यक्ति छ बोल्ने व्यक्ति छ
One of them is just the kind of person, just idle chatting.
अनि एउटा चाहिँ कस्तो एकदम साधारण बोलिरहने व्यक्ति छ
Not so good, but it's not real damaging, but not good either.
अनि त्यो ध्वंस पार्ने चाहिँ होइन त्यति साह्रो तर पनि राम्रो चाहिँ होइन
It's just talking and it comes out a little bit.
अनि अलिअलि मुखबाट निक्लिन्छ
That's we have to be careful with.
अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ हामी अलिकति ध्यान राख्नुपर्ने
We
हुन्छ
don't really mean bad.
अनि हामी चाहिँ त्यो खराबै होस् भनेर
But
चाहिँ
it's just,
चिताउँदैनौँ
we're talking and it
तर
comes
बातचित
out.
गर्दा गर्दा अलिअलि निक्लिन्छ
I told something about him. I didn't really mean to, but it kind of came out.
मैले केही कुरा भने तर म त्यो कुरा भन्न चाहने
When
तर
I
पनि
was talking
निक्लिहाल्यो
to him, I said something about him. I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have told, but I
मैले
did.
त्यो व्यक्तिसँग बात गरेँ तर मैले भन्नु नपर्ने तर मैले भनिहालेँ
That kind of happens. It's a little carelessness,
अलिकति बेहोसी भएकोले गर्दा हुन्छ
and we kind of have to try to be more careful with it. We have to be.
अनि हामी चाहिँ अलिकति हामी सतर्क बस्नुपर्ने
But
कुरा
on
हुन्छ।
the other side,
तर अर्को छ क्षेत्रमा
there's one is like, I want as many bad stories about him as I can get, and I want to tell them to people.
अनि म चाहिँ यो व्यक्तिको बारेमा जति पनि खराब कुरा छ म जान चाहन्छु र अन्त म अरूलाई बताउँछु
To damage him.
उसलाई खराबी तुल्याउन लागि
So it goes from that extreme to just the kind of little careless.
अनि त्यो खराब परिस्थितिको अझै खराब हुँदै
So the
जान्छ
words are gossip.
अनि त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ त्यो
Gossip
कुराउटै
is that it's talking that it's rumor. It might be true, it might not be true.
केही कुरो सत्य हुन सक्छ केही कुरो सत्य नहुन सक्छ
It's not, but it's generally something private. It's their own business. their own
कतिवटा
private
कुरो
business.
चाहिँ कतिवटा एकदमै गोपनीय कुरा हुन्छ
Slander.
अनि त्यसको बारेमा बदखुवाई गर्नु
It's a false negative statement.
तर गलत नकारात्मक त्यसको बारेमा बोल्नु
Not true.
त्यो चाहिँ सही होइन
He stole that money.
उसले चोरेको थियो
It's not true.
त्यो चाहिँ सही होइन तर
But I told people that.
तर मैले त्यो प्रकारले अरूको बारेमा उसको बारेमा त्यो प्रकारले गलत प्रकारले बताएँ
Malice.
अनि त्यो नराम्रो प्रकारले बोल्नु
Maybe it's true.
के हुन सक्छ
Maybe it's not true.
के पनि नहुन
But
सक्छ
my intention is I want to damage the person.
तर मेरो एउटै उद्देश्य थियो त्यो व्यक्तिलाई चाहिँ मलाई खराब गर्नु छ
Doesn't matter if it's true or false. My goal is I want to do harm to that person.
त्यो सही होस् कि सही नहोस् मेरो एउटै लक्ष्य चाहिँ त्यो व्यक्तिलाई खराब
Like telling information.
अनि एउटा बेफाल्तु कुरो भन्नुको लागि
So that's kind of it. We just why do we say it is that it says in the Proverbs that gossip is like tasty snacks.
अनि बातचित चाहिँ एउटा यस्तो कुरो हो कुराहरू चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ एउटा मिठो स्न्याक्स खाएको जस्तै हो
Pani puri.
पानीपुरी खाएको
What else you got? Bhajia. Oh, but real tasty snacks.
तर एकदमै त्यो स्न्याक्स खाएको जस्तो मिठो स्न्याक्स
Chocolate.
चक्लेट खाएको जस्तो
It's very nice.
दामी
So it actually, that's the way it describes it.
त्यस्तो प्रकारले त्यसलाई व्याख्या गर्दछ
And so it's just saying and there's one other says it also says they are people gulp them down.
अनि उनीहरू चाहिँ त्यो खाइसकेको व्यक्तिहरू
So that's all. Just with it is to say, like, we have a pastor and he was saying sometimes he's found himself saying something about somebody and it's a little mean.
अनि एउटा पास्टर हुनुहुन्छ अनि कसैको व्यक्ति बारेमा चाहिँ केही कुरो भन्नु छ तर उसलाई खराब लागेको हुन्छ
He says that he says, and he's a pastor and he loves the people.
अनि एउटा पास्टर हो तर उसले मानिसहरूलाई प्रेम पनि गर्दछ
He doesn't mean to, and then all of a sudden this bad comment comes out.
अनि एउटा खराब कुरो चाहिँ मुखबाट निक्लिदिँदैछ
they're together, and it just comes out. If I can find that. Chris, not the king, not in thy bedchamber. The bird of the air will take it. And do we have it there? So, but what he said was this.
के भने
He
भन्दाखेरि यो
says, I decided I'd be very careful what I say about people.
कुनै कसैको बारेमा केही कुरो भन्नु भन्दा अगाडि एकदमै ध्यान दिन्छु म
Very careful.
एकदमै ध्यान दिन्छु
But then he realized that he was careful what he said.
उसले भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ एकदमै ध्यान राख्यो
But then sometimes in one of those real kind of relaxed times,
जब चाहिँ एकदमै एकदम साधारण समय भइरहेको बेला
he just says something kind of like, him?
ए त्यो
And everybody goes, "Just you know, you made him feel like not important."
अनि यस्तो प्रकारको दर्शायो कि ऊ यति महत्त्व व्यक्ति छैन भन्ने कुरो
And he's thinking, why did I say that?
किन त्यो कुरो भने मैले
I shouldn't have said that.
त्यो प्रकारले भन्नु
I
पर्दैन
hurt him,
मैले भने
and the other people saying, wow, you just kind of put someone down like that.
अनि कसै व्यक्तिलाई एकदमै तल झारेर
He's
भयो
thinking,
भन्यो
why did I say that?
किन त्यसरी
We
बोले
have to be more careful.
मलाई एकदम ध्यान राख्नुपर्छ
But then he realized that wasn't the problem.
तर त्यो त्यसको दुविधा थिएन
The problem was when he was at home on his own,
जब ऊ घरमा एक्लै थियो
and he would think about the person.
अनि ती व्यक्तिको बारेमा सोचिरहेको थियो
He would think about him.
ए त्यसको त्यो
And because the thought got in him,
किनकि त्यो विचार उसको मनमा भएकोले
Jesus
गर्दाखेरि
says, whatever the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks.
अनि जे कुरा हामी भित्र हृदयमा हुन्छ त्यही कुरो मुखले बोल्दछ
So, yeah, we can be careful. We should be careful what we say about people.
हामीले जे भन्दैछ त्यसलाई एकदम ध्यान दिनुपर्ने हुन्छ
But actually, we have to be careful what we think about people.
अनि कसको बारेमा के सोच्दैछ त्यसमा पनि हामी एकदम ध्यान दिनुपर्ने हुन्छ
Nobody knows.
कसैले पनि थाहा जब कसैले पनि थाहा हुँदैन
Thinking those thoughts about it, because it will come out.
जे कुरो सोचेको हुन्छ त्यो कुरो चाहिँ हाम्रो हृदयमा हुन्छ अनि मुखबाट
And if it
निक्लिन्छ
doesn't come out in your words,
अनि यदि तपाईँको शब्दमा निक्ल्यो भने
something I learned in India more than anywhere else,
अनि कहिले काहीँ चाहिँ इन्डियामा मैले यो कुरो धेरै कुरो सिकेको छु
they read your face.
अनि अनुहारबाट नै पढ्दछ उनीहरूले
Indians read your face.
अनि भारतीय व्यक्तिहरूले चाहिँ उनीहरूको चेहरालाई पढ्दछ
And some of them can read your body language
अनि
very
शरीरको
well.
सबै भाषालाई पढ्ने सक्नुहुन्छ
And some of them can read your tone.
अनि उसको त्यो
But
भनाइ
face, you guys are good on the face.
अनि मुहारमा चाहिँ हामी राम्रो छौँ
There's one preacher, he says that most of our sins show up on our face over time.
धेरैचोटि हाम्रो पापहरू चाहिँ हाम्रो अनुहारमै केही समय बाद
He
देखिन
says,
थाल्छ
the only blessing is most people aren't able to read faces.
अनि एउटा चाहिँ आशिष कुरो चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि धेरैजना मान्छेले चाहिँ पढ्नु सक्दैन अरे त्यो चेहरालाई चाहिँ
But now I say, but he was never in India.
किन अब म भन्छु त्यो व्यक्ति चाहिँ कहिले पनि भारत आएको
But the
थिएन रहेछ।
point is this. The
भन्नुपर्दा
point is
चाहिँ यो हो
that pastor was saying,
त्यो पास्टरले यो भन्दै
my
थियो
problem wasn't that my carelessness with my words.
मेरो शब्द मेरो मेरो दुविधा चाहिँ यो थिएन कि मैले मेरो शब्दहरू बोल्नुमा
But that I
एकदमै
was
ध्यान
thinking
राखिनँ
wrong about the person when I was on my own.
जब म एक्लो घरमा हुँदाखेरि त्यो व्यक्तिको बारेमा गलत प्रकारले
And
सोच्छु
it
त्यो
got into
प्रब्लम
me, and what's in the heart comes out.
अनि जे कुरो मेरो हृदयमा थियो त्यो मुखबाट आउँदछ
So that's, if we are going to watch our words, we have to watch our heart.
अनि यदि हाम्रो आफ्नो शब्दलाई याद गर्छौँ
So
भने हाम्रो हृदयलाई
Proverbs
पनि याद हुन्छ
4:23 says, guard your heart very carefully.
अनि हाम्रो हितोपदेशको 4 को 23 ले भन्छ तिम्रो
Because-
हृदयलाई सुरक्षित राख
Things of life flow out of your heart.
किनकि त्यसबाट नि तिम्रो जीवनहरू बग्दछ
We can just, if you actually go to James and chapter 3, and we will start to finish.
याकुबको 3 मा हामी जाने छौं
James chapter 3. And James is a little bit like Proverbs, has a lot
अनि
of
याकुब
short
चाहिँ
statements.
अलिकति हितोपदेश जस्तो नै छ
And like, be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. So he says in chapter 3,
3 मा यो भनेको छ
if we can find, there he is, always after Hebrews, that's what he said. He talks about our tongue,
यसले चाहिँ हाम्रो जिब्रोको बारेमा बोल्दछ
and he gives 7 examples in just a little part.
7 वटा उदाहरण त्यहाँनिर सानो प्रकारले दिएको छ
You can just read through it casually yourself when you want.
अनि तपाई पछि पढ्न सक्नुहुन्छ लास्ट
It's chapter 3 verses 2 all the way down to
3 को 2 देखिको लिएर
to 12.
12 सम्म
We won't read it now because it takes.
अहिले हामी पढ्ने छैनौँ।
So it's James chapter 3 verses 2 to 12.
अनि याकोबको 3को 2 देखिको लिएर 12 सम्म पढ्नुहोस्।
But his point in it is that it's not easy to control your tongue.
उसले यो कुरो भन्न खोजिरहेछ कि हाम्रो जिब्रोलाई चाहिँ नियन्त्रण गर्न सकिँदैन।
Now he doesn't mean so forget about it, but he means it's a tough project.
त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ यो हैन कि सक्दैनौ एकै छोड्देऊ भनेको हैन, गाह्रो छ भनेको।
If you're not doing so well with it,
यदि तपाईमा त्यो कुरो नियन्त्रण गर्न सक्नु भएको छैन भने
it's because it's very difficult.
किनकि यो चाहिँ एकदमै गाह्रो छ भएर।
So just, keep the fight up.
तर त्यो लड्नु चाहिँ नछोड्नुहोस्।
It is not easy. So
सा-
the first thing he
सजिलो
says,
छैन।
he says the tongue, he says we take a bit and put it in a horse's mouth. It's a piece of steel about this size and they put it in the horse's mouth.
अनि एउटा सानो त्यो लोहाको त्यो एउटा दिन्छ काट अन्त मुखमा घोडाको मुखमा हालिदिन्छ।
That's all it is.
खालि सानो।
And they put a piece of rope on it here and here.
अनि 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 दुईटा डोरी चाहिँ त्यो मुखबाट लिएको हुन्छ। अनि त्यसलाई जता
And
चलाउन
they
पनि
can
हुन्छ।
control the whole horse with a little piece of steel this
अनि
size.
त्यो ठुलो घोडालाई चाहिँ नियन्त्रण गर्न लागि सानो कोटको यो मात्रै लोहाको मात्रै जान्छ।
So little,
सानो कुरो
so big a horse.
ठुलो घोडालाई
He says your tongue is so little,
तिम्रो जिब्रो चाहिँ सानो छ,
it controls your whole life.
तिम्रो जीवनलाई सबै नियन्त्रण गर्दछ।
Then he says you see these huge big billionaire yachts,
अनि ठुलो ठुलो
these big huge ships.
ए ठुल्ठुलो प्रकारको एउटा जहाज जुन चाहिँ हुन्छ।
Not even these ones, those ones as big as a cricket pitch.
अनि हाम्रो क्रिकेटको स्टेडियम जस्तो ठुल्ठुलो जहाजहरू जो हुन्छ
They stir it with this little thing.
एउटा सानो चलाउने एउटा उयसले मात्रै
He
चलाउनु
says
सक्छ।
your whole life is stirred by your words.
तपाईको सबै जीवन चाहिँ हाम्रो जिब्रोले चलाउँदछ।
Then he says, the third one, he says the tongue is a fire.
अनि तेस्रो कुरो चाहिँ हाम्रो जिब्रो चाहिँ एउटा आगो हो।
That one little spark,
एउटा सानो झिल्काले
and you see these huge big forest fires.
अनि हामी हेर्न सक्छौँ जङ्गलमा ठुलो आगोलाई
The words just go and they just set go on fire.
अनि त्यो शब्द घुमिबस्छ अनि फेरि आगो जलाउन सल्काउन जान्छ।
And then the next one it says, man has tamed all the beasts.
अनि सबै जन्तुहरूलाई चाहिँ उसले नियन्त्रण गरेको छ।
Bull,
भैँसीलाई,
goats, even
बाख्रा,
lions.
बाघहरूलाई
They get all the animals.
सबै कुरोलाई नियन्त्रण गरेको छ।
But he says no one can control the tongue.
तर जिब्रोलाई चाहिँ नियन्त्रण गर्न एकदमै गाह्रो छ।
It's like a wild animal.
यो चाहिँ एउटा जङ्गली जन्तु जस्तै हो।
Next he says it's like poison.
अर्को चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ विष हो।
And the tongue, I like this. The tongue is like a quill. You know those feather, the old feather they used to write, they use and dip it in the ink.
तपाईँ थाहा छ पुरानो जमानामा एउटा प्वाकले मसीमा चोबालेर लेख्ने गर्थ्यो।
Put in the ink bottle like that.
त्यो एउटा मसीको
The
चुपमा
tongue is like the ink, but actually it's the heart. Whatever's in the heart comes out on the tongue.
अनि त्यो इङ्कको बोतल चाहिँ एउटा हृदय हो अनि जुन चाहिँ मुखबाट निक्लिँदैछ।
So the tongue goes into our heart.
अनि
It's in there
हाम्रो जिब्रो चाहिँ
and speaks
हाम्रो
out whatever's
हाम्रो
in there.
हृदयमा जान्छ अनि चोबल छ अनि त्यो कुरो बाहिर निकाल्दछ।
So he's saying it's not easy.
अनि त्यो सजिलो छैन।
It's like a poison.
त्यो चाहिँ एउटा विष जस्तो
And
हो।
I can spread those poisonous
अनि
words.
त्यो विषालु कुरोहरू चाहिँ
And then he says almost the same, but it's like a well of water.
अनि एउटा चाहिँ कुवामा पानी भएको जस्तै हो।
And then you put the bucket in the well.
अनि त्यो कुवाको छेउमा तपाईँले
And
एउटा बाल्टी
if
राख्नुहुन्छ
the well is clean water, the bucket of water will be clean.
अनि यदि त्यो कुवामा चाहिँ पानी सफा छ भने चाहिँ पानी सफा
If the well
निक्लिन्छ।
is dirty water, the bucket of water will be
तर खराब गन्ध पानी छ भने गन्ध पानी निक्लिन्छ।
clean. And so he's saying whatever's in the heart.
जे कुरो हाम्रो हृदयमा छ
And so he gives all those examples.
त्यस्तो
And
प्रकारको उदाहरणहरू दिँदैछ।
his point is that
भन्नुको चाहिँ बिन्दु यो हो,
it's a tough battle.
यो एकदमै कठिन
It's
युद्ध
not
छ,
easy.
सजिलो छैन।
Did you today say things you wish you didn't say? Few things.
के आज तपाईँले त्यो कुराहरू भन्नुभयो जुन चाहिँ कुरो तपाईँले नभन्नुपर्ने कुरा थियो
Or say it in a way you shouldn't have said it.
अनि त्यो प्रकारले भन्नुभयो जुन चाहिँ प्रकारले नभन्नुपर्ने थियो
This week
आजको यो हप्ता
I did.
मैले दिएँ, मैले गरेँ।
I wish I didn't.
म चाहन्थेँ कि म नहोस् भनेर।
And then, so like he's saying it's not easy,
यो सजिलो छैन,
but it's a hard fight and it's work and keep at it.
अनि यो एकदमै गाह्रो छ तर लडाइँ गरिरहनुहोस्
Controlling the tongue is, and because
किनकि
so first it's not easy. So
पहिला
go a
यो
little,
सजिलो
go
छैन
easy on yourself. But secondly,
दोस्रो कुरो अलिक
he
अलिक
says
धीमै जानुहोस्
these big ships,
यो ठुलो जहाज
they're steered by this little small little wheel.
ठुलो जहाज चलाउँदैछ त्यो एउटा सानो
Your whole life can get, direction of your life can get changed.
अनि हाम्रो जीवन चाहिँ परिवर्तन हुन सक्छ त्यो एउटा सानो कुरोले गर्दाखेरि
So he's saying it's worth keeping. They know you're not going to speak it.
किनकि उनीहरूलाई थाहा छ कि उनीहरूले केही कुरो
It
खराब हुँदैन
grows. It grows.
ऊ बढ्दछ त्यो कुरो चाहिँ
Like if for example in
फेरि तपाईँ र हामीले व्यक्तिलाई पनि आफ्नो कुराहरू भन्नु थाल्छ
so it's a very good thing to develop.
अनि यो चाहिँ एकदमै राम्रो कुरो हो हामीले व्यक्तिको जीवन धेरै कुरो सिक्नुहुन्छ
And you know, many of you have are
जीवनलाई खोल्दै जान्छ तपाईँको अगाडि
and some things like some you'll and when they do, you're going to learn can take 1, 2, 3, 5 years, 2, 3
सायद
years
हुन्छ
to
कि
get
1,
through
2,
it.
3, 4,
It is
5
like-
वर्ष ज्यादा हुन लाग्न सक्ला।
It's trusting you so much,
तपाईलाई भरोसा गर्न थाल्छ।
especially with something delicate like that.
अनि कतिवटा
Make a major decision.
उनीहरूको ठुलो निर्णयहरू लिनको लागि बातचित गर्न सक्छ अनि आफ्नो तकलिफको बारेमा बताउन सक्छ।
I need
बनाउनुहोस्
Jesus' name.
येशू ख्रीष्टको नाममा।
Amen.
आमेन।